From Super League to Olympic distance to age group world records to Kona. Go longer with the right fuel at the right time with SFuels.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Day 3, Breakfast with Bob from beautiful St. George, Utah. My name is Bob Babbitt. We're brought to you by Master Spas, Zoot Sports, the original triathlon brand, HOKA, Let's Fly, SFuels, Go Longer, Biostarks.com. Use the code BWB10 for a 10% discount. Quintanaroo, Form Smart Swim Goggles, Zion's Bank, Premium Plus Sports, and of course, our Challenged Athletes Foundation. Speaking of our Challenged Athletes Foundation, a young man who has been part of our foundation for a lot of years now, Mr. Francisco Postlethwaite, joins us. How you doing, Francisco?
Great, thank you, Bob.
And you're racing here.
Yes, my first world championship.
Get this guy a little closer. Your first world championship.
Yes.
So you were born with spina bifida down in Mexico, and you live in Mexicali. When did you find that? When did you find sport?
I have always liked sports. I have practiced since I was very young. I started swimming about 10 years old.
Yes.
I also played soccer, baseball, but as let's say as professional athlete, I started when I was a teenager. But yeah, I have always liked sports since I was a very young kid.
So you go from swimming to wheelchair racing.
Yes.
And you've gone 2:03 for the marathon?
Yeah, that's my best record.
And that was in Baja.
Yeah, in Baja and in Yuma, I did the same time in both.
Really?
marathons. Yes.
Very cool. And at the same time, you decided to get into para-triathlon, which is very complicated because it's a lot of stuff, right? You need a racing chair, you need a hand cycle, you need to find a place to swim. There's a lot of things that go on with that. What was it about para-triathlon that you enjoyed?
Well, when I was a swimmer, there was a time I felt stuck on racing, swimming. So I wanted to start, I needed a new start. So
Right. Yeah.
at the time that I had a coach that he was the one to told me to try triathlon.
Yes.
So I said, why not? And I started looking for a hand cycle. That at the time I didn't have a hand cycle. And well, a couple of years later, I found out about Challenge Athletes Foundation and I applied for a grant. And well, I started my journey.
So you got a hand cycle, and I remember being with you at one of our para-triathlon camps with five-time Ironman champion Carlos Moleda
Yes.
and some other wheelchair athletes. And what did you learn from those camps that helped you in your racing?
Well, before meeting all these people in that clinic, I was the kind of guy that I took very serious my competition.
Yes.
So even though I take it seriously, they taught me to relax and to enjoy more the competition than to learn more about when you fail or when things don't go your way, to always have an open mind. So that's the main thing I learned from that camp.
Yeah, you learn that there's really no such thing as failure. You learn from everything,
Yeah, you have to enjoy everything.
You win or you learn.
Yes.
You don't lose. You win or you learn. And you learn the skills from the best, Carlos Moleda, how to push the hand cycle, how to push the racing chair.
Exactly.
And what do you look at as the best race you've ever had?
Well, I have a few in mind, but in triathlon, of course, I don't have much experience because
you've only done a few.
I only have done a few. But let's say in marathon, of course, that 2:03, it's one of my best performances as an athlete. And when I used to swim, I got a few medals in national medals in Mexico. I have more than 20 medals in national competition. So yeah, I have a background in swimming, and that has helped me a lot in my career here in triathlon because
Yes.
it gave me a lot of condition, a lot of endurance.
So in terms of swimming, what is your best? Is freestyle
Yes,
your best
freestyle.
stroke? And so the longer the event, probably the better for you.
Yes,
You like what, the 1500, or what do you swim?
Yeah, well, I used to compete on the 400 freestyle for a long
Yes,
time, and
yes.
that was my event for many years.
So in terms of qualifying for the Paralympics in Mexico, were you trying to do that in swimming? Is there a pathway to become a Paralympic swimmer?
Yes, I try for the 2012 Paralympics and for the 2016, but of course I was aware that I didn't have the times to qualify.
Okay.
So that's why I started trying
Triathlon.
Yeah, triathlon.
It makes perfect sense. I mean, so many other people, they're good swimmers, but not really at that level.
Yes.
So then you move into triathlon, and now you're one of the better swimmers.
Yeah, I have a little bit more advantage than a lot of wheelchair triathletes
Yes.
that are not good swimmers. But of course, I need to work on my hand cycle and on my racing chair.
But but the nice thing is you have that swimming background
Yes,
from swimming, trying to make the national team.
Yes.
And then you learn the other sports.
Yes.
Is it hard to find places to train in Mexicali, or do you do most of your training indoors?
Yeah, most of my training are indoors. Of course, I when there's a race on weekends, I use it as training.
Right.
But yeah, most of the time I train indoors.
So Chula Vista, you've done the sprint or the Olympic?
Yeah, the sprint.
The sprint, and then Mission Bay, same type of thing. Do the sprint there.
Yes, the sprint.
The sprint, and so you think that's the Paralympic distance, right? The sprint distance.
Yes.
Is there a pathway to make the Paralympic team for Mexico in para-triathlon, or do they even have a team?
Yes, they do have a couple of wheelchair athletes. They haven't done for a couple of years the national trials.
Oh, because of COVID.
Yes, and well, one of my goals is to make the national team.
Right.
So yeah, when they do again the trials, I'm gonna.
You're going to be there.
Yeah.
So the goal is to get to Paris
Yes.
or LA, wherever it comes first. How old are you now?
28.
So you're a young guy. You got plenty of time. Which do you enjoy most, the swim, the hand cycle, or the racing chair?
Definitely the swim.
Yeah,
Yeah, the swim.
the swim. And have you been on this course a little
No.
bit? You haven't been on this course?
No.
It's flat and fast. I wouldn't worry about it. It's not a problem. But the swim will be, the water's actually really nice. I don't know if have you been in the water?
No, I only have seen videos and
Okay.
and see some pictures.
Yes. So when the water is colder than the air, will you put more clothing on for when you come out of the water to try to stay warm on the bike?
I'm not a guy that gets cold very easy on the water.
Okay. Oh,
so
good.
Yeah, I think the problem is going to be outside when I go outside of the water.
Yes. Yeah, it's when you
So-
get out in the air. So you put, because the water will be 63, 65, and the air will probably be 40.
Yeah.
So it'll be cold. So you'll need some sort of clothing on because you're going to be wet.
Yes, and I did prepare for that. A couple days ago, I swam on a pool. It was 65 degrees, and I only with my short.
Yeah.
So I wasn't wearing any wetsuit. So
So you're ready.
yeah, for the water temperature, I'm ready.
So what were you? We were a full wetsuit for this race.
Without sleeves.
Oh, you go sleeveless.
Uh-huh.
Go sleeveless. Okay, cool. And when you've done Yuma Marathon, Rock and Roll Half, so do you think the marathon distance is a better distance for you than the half, or what do you think is your best distance in terms of racing chair?
Usually, I'm an athlete that works better when I'm tired. So yeah, the
Interesting.
marathon, I do the second half of the marathon.
You
I
do better.
Yeah, I do
Better,
better.
even though you're tired.
Yes.
That's interesting. Usually people lose something in the second half, but you get
Yeah.
stronger.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the adrenaline or that my body is always used to
Right.
control the pain or
Right.
like I do better every time when I'm tired. I do my best times.
So in para-triathlon, you're trying to make the Paralympic team, which is a sprint distance.
Yes.
And this is a half, this is a 1.2 swim and a 56 bike and a 13. This is a long way with some big climbs. But you've done some marathons with hills on them, so I'm guessing
Yes.
you're not intimidated by that.
No, not really. Even though I live in a flat city,
Yes.
I train for hills, so yeah, I'm not worried about hills. I'm worried of how I'm going to like administrate my energy during
Yes.
those hills, so I can do a good time.
Right. How important has Challenge Athletes Foundation been to you?
Very, very. They made me believe again in me. There was a time I was considering not doing sport anymore. So when I met CAF, they made me get my trust back.
Yes.
And
Made you feel good about being an athlete.
So I even though I have my difficulties, I have my mind set more than ever on goals like Paralympics and Kona. So I think I have possibilities. Even though I'm young, I see other athletes in CAF how they have managed their goals, and even though I don't like to compare my situation with them, it's more like of inspiration.
Right. And you raced in Lubbock 2 times?
Yes, 2 times.
And what'd you think of that course?
It wasn't that hard. Of course, it was. I wouldn't say it's easy, but well, as my first experience in a 7.3 last year, I did the time I was expecting. So,
What type of time do you do for 70.3?
flat course 5:30.
5:30.
Yeah,
What are you thinking for here?
no more than 6 hours.
Okay, so still sub 6 hours here.
Yeah.
You've got some good goals. I like that. So how many other people are in the wheelchair division here? Do you know?
When I saw the list, I saw 5, but I think we're only racing 3.
Okay. So it's a good chance you're going to be in a podium.
Yes.
And you possibly could become world champion.
Yeah, I'm gonna fight for that. Of course, I want to enjoy it.
Yes.
I'm not gonna let frustration or any emotion take control of me.
Right.
I want to enjoy the race, but of course, I want to fight that first place.
Yes, because right behind us is the final stretch to the finish
Yes.
line. And so there's a chance you could be coming down this as a world champion.
Of course.
What would that mean to you?
Everything will give me confidence to keep going, to fight for a spot for Kona, and to know that I'm doing the right thing to get my goals.
You are doing the right thing. Francisco, thank you so much for taking time. A pleasure to, I don't think we've done an interview before.
No, that's
This is the first time.
Yes.
Appreciate you being part of the CAF family.
Thank you for everything you do, Bob.
Francisco Postlethwaite has been our guest, everybody. Again, Breakfast with Bob from beautiful St. George, Utah. Hold on, everybody. We will be right